they tried to phase out the gas stoves. It wasn't about that the gas was bad for the planet. It's the fact that you don't need microchips and a network to run a gas stove. It's just gas, heat, food's cooked. That's it. All of that kind of stuff is going to be moved away. They may
Well, I'm
even
sure they
pass
could.
laws to make it
Well, I'm sure
illegal.
they could see what's in your fridge too. In terms of, again, that's going to peg you into a certain category of persons if you have a certain types of meats or yogurts or fruit and vegetable in your refrigerator compared to just ice cream, store bought, pre-processed foods. You're going to get into a different category of, again, health risk, insurance wise. And for us, we only buy meat that comes from the Amish. I'll get a cow a year, I get a full pig a year, 350-pound hog. Usually, our cattle, we usually get a full beef, is what they call it. If you're going to buy a whole cow, you don't walk up to the farmer and say, "I want to buy a whole cow." You just tell me you want to buy a full beef. And ours usually comes in around 1,000, maybe 1,100 pounds. And then we usually get one lamb as well. Then we raise all of our own birds anyway. We got our geese, we got the ducks, got the chickens. So we get those eggs, but then we also get the birds for protein as well. So for me, I mean, you look along that chain, if they really were at the AI, were the uber sensitive in these refrigerators, even the type of meat, the quality of meat would be differentiated, and that would put you into either a different risk category based on whatever. Okay, all of it. I call it clean meat because there's no jabba dabba doos in any of the meat that I consume to my very best of the ability. So that would register in the refrigerator as there's not this antibiotic in the meat. Wait, something how are they eating that? Is that a health risk for them, dude? So even though you have clean meats, like the Amish, they raise their own heirloom corn. They don't even have GM corn that they feed a lot of the animals over there. They raise their own fields of hay. There's no GM. Everything's heirloom. And, the corn comes and it's not the perfect corn that we see for dent corn that you get out of the major fields and say Kansas or something. It comes up and there might even be different colored kernels in it. So they're raising their own corn, GM or non-GM, excuse me, heirloom, and they do their own hay. They raise everything. They're on spring water over there. And all these animals that are coming through that never get anything injected into them at all. And that's some of the cleanest meat on the planet. But if you're coming through an insurance agency or USDA facility, they might look at that and go, "That's unclean. You can't have that. That's dangerous meat." And that could be the way that it looked at. The purer the food you have, it might be deemed more of a health risk because it didn't go through the full stamp, double checked, 16 things put into it, from birth all the way until it goes to the slaughterhouse or whatever. Like that whole mind frame of that is really safe meat because there couldn't be any diseases that get in the cattle or the chicken or the pigs or whatever, compared to, they're out on a farm and there's none. It must be super dangerous meat because there's none of that modern stuff in the meat. Now, if your refrigerator is that smart that it can, like I say, find those chemicals within or without, that'll put you in a completely different category as well. And I'm sure in premiums will increase because of insurance companies will ding you on the risk of that didn't come through the regular supply chain. You're almost eating banned, protein at that point. What if you go out fishing in your own pond that's a spring-fed pond and you start catching your own fish? Those fish are subsequently in your freezer or in your refrigerator. And the fridge pings it up and says, "Well, there's no hormones in these fish. These are something wrong with the fish." You start to get in like farm raised. Okay, well, we grow our own vegetables too, but we don't spray them. Well, the heads of lettuce in there, they don't have any glyphosate on them. They don't, there's no like any kind of herbicides or fungicides on it. It must be illegal vegetables. It didn't go through the supply chain. It didn't come through the supermarkets. It wasn't irradiated. It doesn't have that appeal coating on it. So it must be bad, almost dangerous food because it's so pure. There might actually be an insect egg on it that could give you something in your body. So it's not clean. You just got dinged because you were eating unsafe lettuce. This is the way I really see it getting twisted and bent, where those of us that exist outside that want to live in more of a clean way of life will be dinged for that. Now, I'll tell you one story before I let off here. Like I say, I live just very close to an Amish farm up here. But in this little town where there's like 1,000 people that live out here. Population, I think it was 998 as of the last census. They have some coffee shops, and it's starting to get much more popular. There's more people coming in. And I was talking to one of the coffee shop owners down there, and they were doing some sandwiches and paninis. And I was like, "Oh yeah, do you guys go get the stuff over there from the Amish?" They're like, "No, we can't. We're only allowed as a restaurant to sell something that's come through a USDA facility. We are banned from buying any type of meats that don't go through a USDA inspection process first." And I was like, "Wait a second. The meats you're getting from birth to death here in the slaughterhouse are got like 50 chemicals in them. And you got the super cleanest meat on the planet from these guys next door, literally a couple miles away. That makes no sense to me." And he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either, but we have to follow the law. The law says they will close our restaurant down if our meats do not come through a USDA facility, period. Doesn't matter if it's lamb or whatever it is." And I was like, that is absolutely insane. You as a restaurant are not allowed to get your own meats from anywhere. You have to go through and be forced through this cattle chute, no pun intended, but that's the way it is. So Ransom, I'm done. Oh, yes, but as you see on there, please scan the QR code, newsletter sign up. I sent that out just before the show tonight, and it was 10 bullet points of our last week's show. I know we run through a lot of information. Ransom and I, we just ramble about things, trying to connect giant ideas together to let us see and bend around the corner for a glimpse of the future. So if you like those kind of show notes, it comes in a one-pager. It's just 10 bullet points. Sign up for the show notes right over there at civilizationcycle.com. And that comes to you once a week just before we get on air here. And as always, thank everybody for the double espresso and the super chats over there on Civilization Cycle on Buy Me a Coffee. You know, we do have running costs with our software and different types. You know, again, the subscription model is getting overwhelming on how many subscriptions. You can't just buy software anymore. Like I remember when you could just buy software and it would just be on your computer and you were done, one price and you were done. Nothing is that anymore. And even I was looking at a new HVAC unit because I wanted to get a more efficient. Speaking of all the smart device, we need a new heat pump out here because our old one is 20 some years old. We need a new one. So I talked to the local company. I said, give me a quote on this. And they go, okay, it's going to be this much. I think it says 10,000 or something installed. But then he's like, yeah, but you have to sign up for our monthly warranty or our monthly kind of maintenance program. And I was like, I don't understand that. It either breaks and I'll call you back out, or nope. You have to be. It's $28 a month and you have to sign up for it. So after you buy the unit from us and we install it for you, you're forced to go on the program of $28 a month for some kind of service thing, or they won't sell you a unit and come and install it. Again, this blackmail of getting forced onto a subscription, even for buying a simple product to have it put in and installed. They want you to get on a monthly subscription. It should be under warranty for 5 years. I don't need you guys at all. It's under warranty. Why would I pay? But, they won't let you purchase the unit without going on their subscription program for their maintenance every month. This is not a toothpaste. It's a revolution for your teeth. Remineralize, strengthen teeth, all natural ingredients, essential oils, minerals, salts. Alpha Vedic Dental Solutions System. That's alphavedic.com/civilization. And not a lot of people are talking about this. We always see the storable foods. But what about dental care during these same emergency situations? So take a look at what they have, alphavedic.com/civilization. Kind of ridiculous.
Well, think about it. That is the new way to restrain human productivity. So in the last, say, 50 to 100 years, it was energy. You needed energy to have productivity. So it kind of got all squeezed into electricity. People always ask, well, how come they don't let us have the next level energy generation? Well, it's because people would just sit around all day creating things and they would have the power and time to do that. What they've done is they've transitioned that idea from the electricity over to the subscription model. So like, say I wanted to make an AI movie, but I'm poor. I can only have so many subscriptions with so many credits, so I can only produce so many things. So they keep you down here limited on what you can produce. And if you think about it, like back in the day when you bought a program, you could sit there and work all night. You could work all night every day for months. The productivity would be skyrocketed based on you and your production using the software. But now you have to have a subscription. It only gives you so much data and so much time. And if you want more, you have to pay more to get on another level of subscription, right? It's the same thing as what you're talking about. They know that if you're not paying in monthly, then you know, they're not going to cover your item, because then that would allow you to have productivity to be able to just buy an item, have it under warranty, and wait till it breaks, have it replaced or repaired. No, 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 no. We need money every month for you to even use our service. Things are turning into that everywhere. It's not just the digital platforms. That's kind of why I brought up that thing. They have like a service that's a monthly subscription, just in case one day something breaks in your house and you don't know how to fix it. And let's face it, most young people don't know how to do anything. So they're going to get stuck on these subscriptions. There's one for their car repair, there's one for their home repair. And then anything that they want to do that's like creative using software, they're going to have enough money to buy enough credits or a higher subscription to do any kind of productivity. And think about how much they've limited that. But that's okay, because the companies have unlimited energy and an unlimited amount of time with their own servers and AI. So from now on, there's not going to be the little guy all of a sudden making something that outproduces the big guy. The big guy will always be able to outproduce everybody, and thus they don't need all those people anyway. They need, I think they really are going for the goal of kind of like the Georgia Guidestones, except for it won't be 500 million people worldwide, or maybe that's the ultimate later goal. But for right now, I think they're gonna be okay with just 500 million per sector. So China 500 million, North America 500 million, South America 500 million, Africa 500 million, and Europe 500 million. And then, that way they'll make sure that every single person is not only biometric, completely, in the system, but they'll all be on some kind of subscriptions, including food subscriptions. They've been getting us used to that. Don't worry about filling your refrigerator full of food. We'll just send you these packets subscription. It's a box for planned out meals. And then not only that, they get to control every bit of where your food comes from, the packaging, the pricing, everything. And the more and more it gets like this, you're going to not be able to go to like Walmart or Albertsons or Smith's Groceries or whatever. You're just going to have a subscription to access the food. And then when you order the food, it'll be delivered right to your house if you can protect it. But of course, if you read the contract, that's on your end to protect. You have to protect your deliveries.
Grow your own. Just skip that nightmare, my friends. Please remember civilizationcycle.com, and also buy me a coffee /Civilization Cycle.